Hello and welcome back to another Router Guides video. My name's Humphrey. We're going to continue on our sales engineer series to answer a question that we get quite often is, okay, so I want to become a sales engineer. What will my starting salary be, or what should my starting salary be? So I'm going to show you how to find that out, how to research it, and it's actually pretty simple. It's not that difficult. But as a bonus, I'll also show you how to find out salaries for practically any job out there. So whether you want to be a sales engineer or if you want to stay as a network engineer, I'll tell you how to find those salaries. So your salary is going to depend on several things. There's no uniform salary across all sales engineers and companies. There's kind of a range that I know of depending on the location, but it's going to count on these things. First is going to be the title. The sales engineer job, the title changes depending on your company. So if it's Cisco, and actually I should do my disclaimer now, everything I say is my personal opinion and not necessarily that of my employer. Okay, so for Cisco, the terms for sales engineer are generally going to be, if you're a generalist, generalist means you're going to cover multiple areas, you're going to cover the whole portfolio. That is, in the past, was called a systems engineer. Some patches still call it sales engineer, pre-sales engineer, and that's completely fine. Now you're seeing a move towards solutions architect, SA, or technical solutions architect, TSA. Okay, so the title, you have to find whatever company it is, whether it's HP, Fortinet, Aruba, Palo Alto, Juniper, Cisco, etc. They all call their sales engineers different. Now, sometimes you get lucky and they'll just call it sales engineer, but they're trying to get away from that term because it sounds too salesy. You want to make it sound like you actually kind of know what you're doing and not just a sales guy, right? I have heard the term sales architect or pre-sales architect, or solutions architect is a pretty neutral sounding one as well. You'll see the title solutions architect for more of the cloud platforms, the Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, if you want to get into selling cloud. Right, so the title is going to be a big thing. The company is going to definitely determine your salary. Some companies basically pay more than others. I mean, I was trying to find a nice way of putting it, but there really isn't a nice way. Some companies are cheap. Some companies are generous. Some companies are willing to pay for top talent. So the companies out there, there's high, low, and everything in between. The location is going to matter quite a bit. So when we're talking about location, if we're looking at the US, there's some cities where the pay could be 50 to maybe even 100, maybe 100K is too much, but if you're in a high-cost city like San Francisco, you're in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley, your pay compared to another place could be 50K, 75K, yeah, it could be 100K more than places like you're in the middle of Iowa, right, or Ohio or something like that, Cleveland. So yeah, the location's gonna matter. High-cost cities like, let me show you, Seattle. Yeah, Seattle is going to be definitely there. Silicon Valley, Silicon Beach, which is the Santa Monica, Venice Beach, Marina Del Rey, that area in Southern California. Could also be Orange County, California. San Diego is also quite expensive. Austin is getting up there. Austin's kind of the new hot, and it's the hot and heavy place. Silicon Valley of Texas. So salaries are starting to creep up there, but definitely still not as much as what you would get in the San Francisco area. All right, so and of course, New York here is going to be pretty crazy. So the location is going to definitely matter. Now, I'm going to have another video coming up about how to calculate your total compensation, because it could be, you look at this map and you go, wow, okay, San Francisco, I'll make a lot more money. But that's not the whole equation. Cost of living is going to come into play, your access to companies and competition. It's not necessarily a black and white situation. But that video is going to come up later, because we could spend all day talking about how to calculate total compensation. And then your patch of customers. So you should always ask when you're going into an SE job, what's my opportunity? What's my opportunity to knock it out of the park? Because from a previous video, I showed you that your salary is in two pieces. It's your base pay plus your variable or your commission. Right? Base plus commission. And this piece right here is going to depend on, are you able to knock it out of the park? Will your goal be low? So if your goal is super low, like $3 million, and you have a $30 million opportunity on the table that you could close, you could completely blow this part out of the water. So ask about your patch and your customers when you're going in here. Now, generally speaking, and this is just from my experience, in larger sized patches, so when you have really large customers, like in enterprise, like in SLED, which is state, local, education, or government customers, you have really big deals on the table, and if your goal is low, you have the opportunity to kick butt. Now, the risk will be there. You could totally tank in that year. You could finish the year at 30%, which your base is going to be the same. The base doesn't change, but your commission piece will be lower. The salaries that I've seen, before we go into the researching part, if you're just out of college and you've never been in sales before, your base salary could be in the neighborhood of somewhere between 80 to 100K. Now, this is US dollars, 80 to 100K US dollars. Now, this will also depend highly on where in the world you are. I'm quoting kind of the US range here. If you're in Singapore, it's going to be different. If you're in Malaysia, it's definitely going to be different. Sorry, folks. If you're in India, you're not going to see this. But on the flip side, the SE base pay will be much better than what you would locally get for a typical network engineering job. The Philippines as well. Okay, so base will be somewhere between 80K to 100K. If you're talking about a more experienced position, where they want something like, they'll say something like 3 to 5 years in sales or as SE, then you're looking at somewhere between 100 to, on the higher end, 140, right? I've seen that. So that's the base. Now your commission is going to look like something like this. We'll go about here. That won't let me go all the way here. All right. So if you're entry level, your commission could be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 25 to 35-ish. For the more experienced folks, it's going to be around 35 to, we've seen about 60, right? Yeah, OTE of about 200K when you make 100%. So that's just to give you an idea. Now, of course, this is extremely general, but that's kind of the ranges I've seen across the bigger companies. Okay, so how do I get a better idea? How do I research this? Well, a pretty simple thing. You got friends that work at these companies, ask them, right? Now, a couple things to keep in mind here. Some states in the United States have a equal sharing or open sharing of salaries. So you cannot get in trouble no matter what your contract says. So there's a lot of contracts out there that say you can't disclose your salary. But on the flip side, if you're in California, that part of the contract is null. It cannot be enforced. It's actually, you have another law basically saying, no, that's not going to work. You can't prohibit a employee asking or telling another employee their salary. And so California, it's an open book, right? Now, you have to be very strategic in who you ask and how you ask about salaries, because once you ask your friend, and so let's say your friend works at Amazon. Okay, your friend works at Amazon. You ask your friend, hey, how much do solutions architects get paid at Amazon? Well, one, now you've just shown your hand to your friend. You're interested in a job at Amazon. Whether you are or not, he's going to be asking around. That could be a benefit. That could also be not a benefit. The benefit is you've let people know that you're interested. So any openings that come up, you've put in this guy's mind that Humphrey's interested, right? Now that can be a very calculated decision. It's generally never, I would say it's very rarely wrong to let people know that you're looking for a job, right? Even if you have a job. Now where this can get dicey is you tell your buddy, right? Ask your buddy, hey, at Amazon, how much do you make? And your buddy knows other buddies at Amazon, and one of those buddies used to work at your current company. Well, it could boomerang around, and then you get called in the office. Hey, Humphrey, I hear you're looking for a job. You're asking around for different salaries. Are you happy here, right? Now that's still not necessarily a bad thing. Maybe you get a raise out of it, right? But and also the chances are rare because people who are looking for jobs help each other out. There could be some backstabbing, but in the U.S., I never had that happen. So ask friends. Don't ask on an open forum because that definitely could come back and bite you unless you're anonymous. All right. So friends are going to be probably your number one and most accurate. You're going to get the exact dollar amount there. You want to find out the range. You want to get close. Another site that I highly, highly recommend and you should get good using is Glassdoor. Now Glassdoor, you make an account, and here you could search either by the company, the keywords, or by the job title. California, we'll do a search, and let's see what we find here. Okay, I don't want account manager, I want more technical stuff. Oh, virtual sales specialist, lead stack engineer. All right, looks like I'll have to change the title a bit. Well, I think we can work with this. If it's not Cisco, we can find something else. So let's take a look at, I have to scroll down here. Systems engineer, that's not sales. That's in the data center, I believe. Okay, fine. Let's do sales engineer. You might have to play around with keywords and the locations a bit to find something, but okay, here we go. Tenable. Tenable is a security company. I've clicked on that, and you can see, man, the range is large. 64K to 158. I don't know if they're including the variable portion of that, but yeah, they're lowballing on the 64. I'm going to guess that the 64K one is probably like a cold caller entry level type situation. The 158K is more of a normal systems sales engineer position. So I would be looking at this and say, okay, you throw out the low ball figure of 64K. This is probably going to be in the neighborhood of about the base salary. I'm going to guess 100 to 125, and you'll have a variable of 10 to 25K, right, that you could blow out of the water. Principal Cloud Architect, Senior Solutions Architect. Okay, so the titles here for most places is you have Solutions Architect, that's kind of the entry level. Then you have Senior Solutions Architect, and Principal is like God mode, right? It's you're lasted there forever and all that good stuff. So let's go with the we'll go with the Senior Solutions Architect. So this is someone who is more experienced, 120K to 205. All right, so this is, yeah, this one actually makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna guess here that 120K is the base. So you're looking at a base of around 120 to 140K a year US, and then you'll have a 40 to 60K commission portion. Now this is LA area. All right, so I hope that was useful to you. Once again, I hope you're doing well and you're staying safe wherever you are. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. I will answer them either in the comments or I'll make a separate video about them. And as always, thumbs up if you like it. That definitely helps out with the YouTube algorithm these days. And take care. See you on the next video. Bye.